Today we're going to look at part 2 of our book review that we did in my last video. So if you haven't watched the previous video, go and watch that first and then take a look at this. Hello home bosses, my name is Nuria Corby from thehomeboss.com. Welcome to this channel, which is all about helping you to make money online. And if that sounds interesting to you, click the subscribe button and the notification bell to get more videos like this. So today is part 2 of our book review. Somebody has kindly agreed for me to review their book, and that was a very brave thing to do, and I thank that person very much. And I think that it's very, very helpful for everybody just to see what to avoid and what to maybe improve and what can be made better so that your book has a better chance of selling. And in the last video I talked about the cover of the book, and in this video we're going to have a look at the interior. And now let's have a look inside. So this is a really nice This Book Belongs To page. This Book Belongs To is really nice for children's books, but when it's adults, it's not really that necessary, because if I buy a book, I don't really write my name in it anymore. I used to do that at school, but not now that I'm an adult. So if this is targeted at adults, it's not necessary, but you could still have it. I know a lot of books do that, but you could also have a little bit more here to how to use the book. For example, a little bit of a description what you can do with this book. That's something to improve the first page. And you can also have a copyright message here. You don't have to have it, it's not necessary, but I always think it looks more professional to do that. And this is the first page. So we've got the date, the number, I imagine that's number 1, 2, 3, 4 in the order that you're reading books. The book, instead of name, I would say title, because it's not a name for a book. It's called a title. What the book is called is the book title. So straight away, if I want to buy a book reading log and I see name there, then I'm thinking that's, I don't know. And then pages read from 2, that's okay. Let's see, but is this all there is? Let's have a look. So all the pages, if all the pages are like this, that's not really a reading logbook. I'll show you what a reading logbook should be like on the inside. So let's go and have a look. Let's see this example here. So if we look inside here, first of all, you have some pages which are the contents. So imagine you're reading 100 books. So how do you know on what page your review is? So you have a few pages first where you can write in the book title, and then you have some other information that you can put in, and you've got quite a few like that, so you can see what's in this book log. And then if you continue, so they've made 100 pages for it's like an index, like an index page. It tells you what's in this logbook, and then you have the actual log. So number 1, you have the title, the book that you've read, who is it by, the author, the publisher, the publication date, how many pages are in the book, is it fiction or is it non-fiction, what's the genre, what's the subject, and then you write a little review. And then you can put in things like when did you start, when did you finish reading it, why did you read it. So it's got a lot more information, and there's a page for every book that you read like that. So this is number 1, and I'm sure then there's number 2, and these pages will be the same as well. So that is what a reading log is. I think that this one, I wouldn't buy this because this is not a reading log. I can write this in a notebook. This is not, I don't need a reading log book for that. So I think what's really important is when you make an interior or when you decide on making a book, you need to know what you're making. You need to know what is a reading logbook, how do people use it, why do they buy it, What attracts them to it? Why do they need it? You know, if you can answer those questions, then make a book about it. If you don't have an answer for those questions, don't make a book, because it's not going to be what people want. You have to know what your customer wants from this book. So I hope that has explained the interior a little bit. So, you know, the person that made this book said to me, they're not selling many books. Can I help them? And this is one of the reasons, because this interior, for example, doesn't really say anything to people. It doesn't want to make me buy this book if I'm interested in a reading logbook. If I'm typing in reading logbook into Amazon and I see this, then that is what I'm buying, not this, unfortunately, because this is $6.99, this is $5.99. You know, which one is giving me more value? Which one is giving me what I want? The other good trick is to look at the reviews from other people. Let's see what people like about this. So people like to send in photos for the interior to show other people what they like and what they don't like. So this one says, I took a chance on this, being that there were no reviews. I'm 100% happy. It's a notebook size log, which is what I wanted. And that person says, I'm not a fan of the smaller reader journals I've had in the past. So straight away, you know, there's a market maybe for bigger logbooks. They like the matte cover, and they like the cover. And table of contents, this is the first pages. I've always been frustrated with journals that just jump into book reviews. And I think this person is not alone in saying that, you know, you have to have a table of contents when you're making a book review log. So, you know, it's not as simple as just making a logbook and just copying someone, or you have to know why a customer wants to buy that kind of book. What is a reading logbook? And I think that in this case, if I asked you what is a reading logbook, I don't think you really researched it the way you need to research it. So when you want to produce a book, research it and make sure you know exactly what your customer wants. Now, the other thing is keywords. When you're making a book, you need to pick the right keywords. So again, let's have a look and see what we can type in. So if I type in reading logbook, I'm using the Self-Publishing Titans extension, but you can use any other way that you do your research to find if it's a good niche. Now, this one is telling me it's 57%, which is not too good, because we know that if we're using Self-Publishing Titans, we're looking at something 63% and up. But saying that, sometimes I still publish in a lower percentage niche if I look at the other figures and they make sense. So for example, we've got 2,498 results, which is not a super huge number of results, so that's not too bad. And the average price is $8.43, which is good for me. Anything over $6.99 means that I have a little bit of margin to make a good profit. So I could make it cheaper and still, you know, and it would still be a good profit, and I would be able to compete with the average price. So the average BSR is 248,000, which is quite good. It's not bad. It could be better, but it's not bad at all. And the average reviews are 129. That is quite high. So you are competing with quite a lot of reviews. So I would say to you, reading logbook is a good keyword, but try and find a way that you can niche it down a little bit more, so that maybe your niche is better. So let's just try finding if a reading logbook for kids is better. Let's have a look. So reading logbook for kids, I'm just letting this load for a minute, and that is even worse. So we know that that is a really low score. Let's just see the numbers. Lots and lots of results. The average price is okay. The BSR is okay. 302 reviews. There's way too many results for me to really contemplate making a book in this. So this isn't a particularly good keyword either. Now, what else can I think of? Let's try and see what the drop down is telling us. Reading logbook for girls, journal for kids, for adults, unicorn. Shall we try this one? Let's have a look. Unicorns are everywhere these days. I think everybody is using unicorns to sell something. So let's just see if this is a little bit better. So 55% is a bit better. The number of results is not bad at all. But look at the average BSR. Far too high. So I wouldn't go for this one either. Now, I'm thinking of what this lady said in her review. She wanted a larger book. So let's type in large book review log. And let's see if that is a little bit better. I'm letting this load. No, it's not good. So it looks to me like logbooks for book readers is probably quite saturated at the moment. Let's have a look and see book reading log for book club. Let's see if that's any better. I'm just letting the score load, and that's 43%. So my advice is, if you really want to make a book reading logbook, then try and niche it down. Search for more niches, because I think this is a little bit too tricky. I mean, I've got some reading logbooks and they sell occasionally. They're not that bad. So it's up to you. You can make a book in this niche, but to compete with other ones, you really have to bring a really good cover out. You need to make it better than this one, better than this one. You really need to make it an outstanding book to compete with all of these. And if you can't do that and you're just going to bring out something that's similar, then I don't know if it's a niche worth going into. But that is completely up to you. That I'm just telling you my opinion. I would probably not do that unless I had a fantastic idea. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes I can have fantastic ideas, and I'm sure you can too. So if you can find a way to niche this down, and if you can find a way to make the cover different to everybody else's cover and make it really outstanding, then you've got a chance in this niche. So keywords are very important as well. And yep, I can see why this one probably isn't going to get so many sales. I would probably change the cover and the interior and still leave it on Amazon. Just upload a new cover and a new interior and then see what happens. It can definitely be improved. And I think this is a good start. You know, my first books that I made when I first started were a lot worse than this. So this is actually quite a nice looking little book. It just needs a few changes, and it's not in a particularly fantastic niche, you know, so it's going to be hard to rank for this. But, you know, I hope that my advice has kind of shown you what to do with other books as well. Not just this one, but other books. You can apply the same kind of advice. Make sure your titles are spot on. And I did a video about book titles and subtitles. So if you want to watch that, I'll leave a link underneath this video. And also make sure that you have really good English and you get someone to spell check your description and your titles, because you don't want any spelling mistakes. And that happens when English is not your first language, but don't let that stop you. You know, you can just get someone to check it or run it through a spell check, and you can still publish in a language that is not your own. Absolutely no problem. And also, if you speak more than one language, consider making books in your mother tongue, because books are read all over the world and people can buy books on Amazon.com. Even if they're in Spanish, French, English, Japanese, whatever you want to publish, do it, because there are people who would like to read books in their own language, and if they find them on Amazon, that's fantastic. So, you know, don't let it put you off. Either publish books in English, but then make sure that they are checked by somebody who knows what they're doing, and also publish in your own language as well. That is a perfect advantage that you have over anybody who only speaks one language. So, you know, use everything you can to your advantage. So I hope that this has helped some of you. leave any questions underneath this video, and I hope that you can see similarities maybe with your own books so that you know what to do to improve your own books. And if anybody is interested in letting me review their book in a video, let me know in our group, the Homeboss group on Facebook, or send me an email actually to info@thehomeboss.com and send me a link to your Amazon book, and if I select your book, I will make a review and tell you how you can improve it, and everybody can benefit from that by seeing this, because we can learn so much from other people. And thank you so much to the person who let me review this, because I think that's very, very brave. It's not easy to have somebody talk about your book, because I'm sure you really like your book and you spend a lot of time creating it, and it's not easy to hear criticism. So I thank you very much for letting me do this. And please know that you have helped other people by letting me do this, because we all start somewhere. We are all learning as we go along, and I hope you get more sales. So thank you again very much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.